having, Molly as like just this super curator of art and people, it was kind of cool from the outside looking in and the inside looking out to see her just create this vision just from scratch, just from a very like a simple conversation to the biggest Black art, installation in my estimation for the past 10, 20 years in the city, maybe ever.
This is Gary Brackett, and welcome to another episode of Success Leaves Clues. I'm extremely grateful to have two of my friends here locally in Indianapolis here on the show, cultural influencers, 40 under 40, long list of resumes, and they join me today in the evening because they got full-time jobs, so they work around the clock, man. So I'm fortunate to have Molly Jeffers and Alan Bacon on the show. Welcome, guys. How you guys doing?
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.
We are happy to be here. We're excited.
Awesome. So it's awesome. First time you guys been in the studio on the show. And the name of the show is Success Leaves Clues, right? So both of you guys have been successful in your own right.
Yeah.
I think, Molly, everything you've done in the city, all the cultural influences that you had, and Alan, obviously president of a college, and now you're rolling out with the United Way.
Yeah.
So two leaders inside the community. So I just wanted to have you guys on, talk about some of the things over last weekend. That was very exciting.
Yeah.
But first, I think I just want to have you guys introduce yourself. Who is Molly Jeffers, and what is she all about?
Who's Molly Jeffers?
Yeah, that is a dynamic question, and my mind doesn't even go to towards my career when you ask that. But since you want to know about me professionally, I call myself a cultural entrepreneur. And so I look for opportunities to build, create, connect culture. And so that can look like a lot of different things, right? But right now, I am a creative director for a project for an ad campaign. I'm doing some work with the Indianapolis Cultural Trail on their expansion, specifically around the art of the expansion and the community engagement. Obviously working on the mural project, which has taken up more of my life than I expected to, and a couple other things here and there.
Also, so culture entrepreneur. So define that. So I'm a corporation. I'm looking to invest somewhat in the culture in the city.
Okay.
What walk me through? What do you do to help me out?
I think the entrepreneur part is more like I'm a free agent, right? So I'm a free agent of culture. So I'm almost like a broker. So if you're a corporation, you come to me and I help solve your problem creatively, right? You're trying to get more X or more Y. And I say, okay, how can we infuse the culture and build the culture while solving your problem? Right. And so it's kind of, that's how
I think it's, I think for you, you've spent years building relationships.
Absolutely.
Where maybe some cultivating relationships.
Absolutely.
That maybe these corporations don't have. So
Right. So then it's authentic and it's genuine, and I'm relying on real life experiences and people that I've met over the last forever, my whole life.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you can not use your social capital, but you can leverage your social capital. You can leverage your network. You can leverage your friends, because towards the goal of building culture and building Indianapolis.
Right, that's beautiful. What about you? Where are you currently at? What was a little bit of your background?
What can you tell them?
No.
Okay. So born and raised here in Indianapolis. Went to Indiana University. Came out 2003. And from that point, I started my career working for Harrison College, formerly Indiana Business College. I spent 12 years at Harrison in a lot of different roles. So it felt fresh. It didn't feel like 12 years. The last 3 years of my tenure there, I was campus president. So I was appointed campus president. This is back in 2015. At the time, the only Black president I knew was Barack. Right. So I was like, me and Obama. So that was a blast, and just having that role really allowed me to grow within the community as well. But with the just the trajectory of the for-profit education, and when ITT closed down, I couldn't see past the next 2 months. Like, where is this going? So I decided to make a change then. So I started working for an IT consulting firm based out of here in Indianapolis, but they have a large enterprise in Johannesburg, South Africa. Wow. So I know we'll talk about some travel today, at some point, hopefully. But just did a lot of travel back and forth from Johannesburg to Nap, and that was a a great experience. And I think that's kind of what led me to my current role at United Way, just being over there, seeing poverty from a very different lens. Not saying that we don't have poverty here in Indy, but it looks a lot different, in places around the world. So wanted to get back into more of a community-facing type role. Joined United Way as the Senior Director of Social Innovation. So what that is really just me finding new creative ideas, strategies, and just answering the question, like, what are we not doing currently in our communities to help fight poverty? So it's, it's really trying to, fight poverty from a lens of innovation and, forward thinking to help people experience more upward mobility in the city. Yeah.
That's awesome. I read the article. You also write blogs for the Indianapolis Recorder.
Yeah.
And the last one was about the Black church and specifically using funds or being like a liaison to some of the funds to kind of provide like resources for their communities.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I think that's what I'm trying to bring as much as possible to just the traditional modes of funding and philanthropy. So it's like, for us, the Black church is the pillar in our community, in every, Black community. So I think, funneling money through that entity will allow the funds to go wider and deeper.
Of service.
Yeah. And it just almost augments, just the level of service that we can, deliver in our own communities. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And they're probably in one of the best places, right? Because they really know the residents.
Absolutely, yeah.
And they've been the anchor for decades and decades and decades and decades.
Like, how many churches you see in the hood? Like, they're a part of the community. There's no, better, place to funnel money and disseminate, resources to than, the churches.
Awesome. So
you
great.
sound so smart.
Man, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like I killed it.
Solid answer. Y'all both came up with like job titles that no one has ever heard before.
You got to.
Right.
So congratulations. So real quick, I think you guys are a couple, right? How long have you guys have been dating?
We don't know the answer to that for sure.
Man, it's hard to say.
Yeah, but it's somewhere around. We met in September, at the end of September, and so this September coming up will be like six years that we've known each other, but we've been dating for, I don't know, like 2.5-ish. This might be our third summer or second.
Man. That's a good question.
You haven't so much fun.
That's a good question.
What does it matter?
It doesn't at this point, right? You're happy.
Right.
I think the great thing, obviously, just being a fan of you all, and just like how transparent, authentic you guys have been.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you guys love to do as a couple is travel.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you guys, I think, have your own IG page, right? Is that still alive?
It's still alive, yeah. It's kind of like our little own place in the world, just for, something that's just about us, and we can talk about travel, we can talk about corny things, we can talk about anything there. Yes.
Yeah, we rapping in the car.
Yeah, that too. Alan and Molly on Instagram.
Yeah. No, but I mean, we met, originally on a leadership exchange trip.
We met out of town.
By the Indy Yes. We met in Nashville, so we didn't, even know each other while living in the city, and just our paths, just from a leadership perspective, just, crossed. And, I think just being the only two Black leaders, the youngest, I mean, they're like on that trip, we just automatically just kind of gravitated towards, each other. And, that was kind of like just the beginning of me recognizing, there's someone else my same age in this leadership, circle, which is really, really, really dope at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad. I've been invited plenty of times on that trip. I have not yet come.
I've even seen your picture on like
I'm like, but I definitely got Mike. I'm gonna come one of these years. I promise. I think they just sent out like an invite or something like that.
I was wondering, is it happening this year? Or
I don't know. Maybe we do a virtual trip somewhere.
No. I'd rather just skip.
Yeah.
Gotta go someplace.
Definitely crazy. But that's dope. So in terms of the travel, like, where are some of the, your highlights of travel? Like, where are some of the best places that you all went?
Well, you mentioned South Africa with your work. So you've been 3 times, I think. And I got to go 2 of the times. Yeah. So that was crazy.
It was
going
crazy.
To Joburg and just, being in a completely different world, right? I mean, you just learn so much every second of the day being there about who you are, as a Black person, and what Black even means, and what color means, and what culture means, and what poverty means it's all different, right? So it completely. Go ahead, yeah. I'm just
like,
saying that was a cool experience for me to have twice.
No, I mean, like, I've never felt less black in my life than being in Africa, just because, like, you know, when you're having conversations with, you know, them over there, and just, you're kind of leading with black, but everybody's black in Africa, so it's like it's not nothing that you talk about. So like when you know, kind of, you know, try to identify with someone, and you know what you have is like your melanin. That's how we identify each other here in the States. So I know anybody is black, just kind of how you look. And then we have like the subculture of hip hop and things of that nature. But over there, I mean, you know, they'll talk about their tribe, the amount of languages they speak, the food they eat. You know, they can trace back their ancestors, you know, generations.
They told me what tribe I'm from.
Yo,
right?
I mean, so I think so, and that just makes you feel like, oh man, we really actually don't have a strong connectivity to who we are as a people, and then which is just kind of opens your eyes in a lot of different areas. But I think Africa was a great experience, but probably not our.
That wasn't our favorite.
Trip.
No,
it's not a favorite trip, man. Yeah.
So are you gonna say what the favorite?
Go ahead, babe.
I'm just wondering if we're gonna say the same thing. So Italy was definitely our favorite, and we've been to both Florence and Venice. That was our first kind of like real date. Wow. It was going to. So Alan asked me one day if I wanted to go with him to see Lenny Kravitz, and because Lenny Kravitz is his favorite, and he was going on tour, and I guess he hadn't been on tour for a while. Whatever. He's fine with me, but I'm not a fan. Right. And so
full disclosure, Alan is actually a rock star.
Yeah,
I told him to bring it, right? But he gave me the strings. I'm going to play one of these times. But continue. Lenny Kravitz.
I said, no. I was like, you pick anywhere.
Yeah, he was like, look at the tour, and you can pick any place that he's touring. I think he thought I was going to pick someplace in the States.
I was hoping for Denver.
And I was like, let me find out more about this guy. Let me find out more about him. And I was like, ooh, I want to go to Italy.
She's like
I've always wanted to go to Italy, and so I respond back, and he's like, cool.
I was like, cool, after I kind of checked my bank. Like, Italy.
Who paid for the Italy trip? Like, first time dating,
it was a first date.
Yeah.
Right?
And he asked me.
Right.
He invited me to the concert.
Right. So Hal Rocks is good dude, man.
Yeah.
They had a meme. The reason I asked was funny. It was like a meme saying like, how long do you have to know someone to invite them like on a vacation?
How much you have to save the money?
And the dude was like, however long it take for her to save the money. So I thought that was hilarious. A man and gentleman, he took care of it. So I rock with that.
Yeah. That was a good trip. And we actually didn't even see Lenny Kravitz in Italy because I messed things up, and
tell me what you did.
We got to the airport and my passport wasn't updated.
Yo.
It was pretty wild. It was wild.
You can't go on vacations like your passport is expired.
I had no idea.
So it was like it wasn't expired. It was like it expired in 2 months.
It wasn't expired.
Yeah,
I did check it.
Yeah, then it was like
it expired in 2 months, and they were like, you can't be this close to the expiration.
But that's like,
who knew that?
Yeah, that's like, we can't get on the plane. It was like, call Paris.
All the connecting flights.
Yeah, tell Paris real quick that we come.
Yeah, that is a thing. I do remember having to deal with that at one point.
Yeah.
Now we know.
Yeah. Now you know. That's awesome.
But we got there. And it was amazing.
It was super dope, yeah.
So, the reason I brought you guys on last weekend, something amazing happened, right? So you guys kind of, obviously you had help as well. I guys just want to talk about it because we've seen it like around the country, the whole Black Lives Matter. Painting on like streets in downtown and areas. I think the first one was maybe DC.
Yep.
And then where's the second one?
Charlotte, maybe Seattle.
I don't think Charlotte was second. I don't know who was second.
Right.
They all just started popping up around the country after DC's.
So what it is like on a major intersection in downtown of an area, a big mural of Black Lives Matter is written on the street, and it's amazing. I don't know about you guys, just experience over the last few months. Obviously being in the corporate America, there's been so many conversations about Black Lives Matter because before it's just like. It was labeled as a hate group.
Right.
It was labeled as like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you were kind of hesitant to engage. What is
but now, like, everyone has a clear understanding, like, yo, no.
Oh, no, it just means we matter.
Just matter.
Just matter.
But there's just like, the whole thing is like, yo, we're on the block and my house is on fire and your cat's in the tree. Like, I hope you would say, fireman, his house is on fire. Take care of that, right? And I feel like that's the case with blacks, in America, the whole Black Lives Matter movement. But now, like seeing that being on the street and that, like, how did that come about? As far as you guys, curating that or connecting with people, how did that all come about?
So yes, Mayor Bauer in DC kind of revealed their mural. It was a giant, across the block, bold yellow letters that said Black Lives Matter. And I turned to Alan and I said, is that something that we could do in Indianapolis? Is that something that we could do? Is that something that we could pull off? And, I think it was the next day. It wasn't even right away, but we had another conversation. It was like, I think I could do it. Like, I want it to happen here. Right. And I don't think anybody would expect Indianapolis necessarily to have one. And so it's like, if we can pull it off, let's try.
But the DC one was like a month ago, it was a while ago.
It was a while ago. It was maybe 2 months ago at this point. And so it did kind of feel like, is it too late?
Right.
Is it going to feel like a kind of a copycat thing? But at the same time, again, other cities around the country are popping up saying, us too. Like, we're engaging in the conversation. And it's like,
I think it's more like a solidarity thing.
Right.
Unification. Because even like what was really dope was just about the protest and everything that was occurring maybe a few weeks ago, months ago now. Yeah. That like even across the world they were protesting.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And this unifying thing. And I think the scariest thing, like for the people on top, is for everyone to actually like
to get together, to unify, right?
Yeah. So for y'all bring it to Indy and I just having that side of here, I think it's just extremely dope.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead. I think it's having Molly as like just this super curator of art and people. It was kind of cool from the outside looking in and the inside looking out to see her just create this vision. Just from scratch, just from a very a simple conversation to the biggest Black art, installation in my estimation, probably the past 10, 20 years in the city, maybe ever, right? So I think it rivals some of the top, art installations that we've created in Indianapolis, and like it's the actual message that's so super dope. But like to have it on Indiana Avenue and how that's connected to our history. Like as you mentioned, I'm a musician, but my father was a musician who gigged with Babyface and After Seven, and my great uncle, his name Trevor Bacon, was a famous jazz musician who played and gigged with Lucky Millinder, but also played on Indiana Avenue. Like from that, so I think it's a lot of history that we don't know about, but that was a bustling area just for Black business creators, music. We had Wes Montgomery came. Dave Baker. So there's so many legends of just jazz and bebop where like Indy was actually like the place to be before Chicago. It rivaled New York. So
people traveled here for music and culture and the arts.
Was it the Madam C.J. Walker Theater? Was it that
helped?
That was the anchor. Yeah,
but all along that street, business, record shops, barber shops, clubs, all kind of stuff on Indiana Avenue. And people ask, why would you put this mural there when in every other city it's like facing the state capitol or their city county building? And so, there were murmurings about that. But Indianapolis is unique in that we have Indiana Avenue. Yeah. And people from all around the country traveled here. And so it's like, well, if we have that here, why wouldn't we highlight the significance of that street and that history? And why wouldn't we even educate people on what happened there and what could happen?
Because it almost serves as, it serves as a monument, right? I've seen people actually take their kids downtown and take pictures of it, right?
Man, and that's probably the most enduring part of this piece, because out of all the early, backlash and the naysayers of,
no one was talking trash.
No one was hating on this. No, man, but like just to see like a grandmother bringing her granddaughter there and being emotional and just talking about just like what the area used to be, and just like for me that kind of blew me away, just because like I just saw just the connectivity and just the power of like aligning and bringing together our entire community. From the
generational
older, it's crazy, man. So that's the super
but
cool
it's
part of it.
Interesting that you mentioned that, just because that's the sentiment that I had yesterday when we went to visit. I'm calling it the site now because it felt like a memorial site, right? It felt serious, and that it's something that you should respect. And then when you see people like kneeling to take pictures or mothers of the victims that, whose names are written in this mural.
Yeah.
Like, that was powerful. Michael Taylor's mom came, and Mikhail Rose's dad. Like, there was a kind of a feeling of reverence.
And that's our community,
Yeah, so why was that? Because I know the one in DC was just like straight yellow paint, right? But yours is curated a little bit different. Talk to me a little bit about like how you organize to get the artists out there. I mean, you made an event.
That was the fun part for me. So I was actually really inspired by Charlotte's mural. They were the first one that I saw that looked good, and not one color, not just block letters in one color. It was like artists had creative freedom. And so I called Indy 10 Black Lives Matter, because they're kind of our Indianapolis chapter of the larger movement. And they connected me with somebody else who wanted to do the Block Party portion of the event. And so the four of us just started working together. And right away, we counted out the characters, how many letters and symbols are in Black Lives Matter, and what if we include the hashtag, and what if we include the fist? So there were 18, and it's like, well, just hire 18 artists, Then it can come to life. Then it can be different. Then it can be unique.
And what's dope was like 18 Black artists. Though.
18 Black artists.
Yeah, so just like, just people came from everywhere. I mean, when you hit it out on social media, just artists, super dope, people as well. Yeah, just the response.
People, I want to paint. And we didn't even tell people initially that it was going to be designed by artists. People, just the community, just wanted to roll whatever color we chose. And so it was. But what a great opportunity to hire and highlight Black artists that live and work here that need gigs, and that are amazing. They're just amazing artists.
And especially like during COVID and just this time, in place in the world of society. I mean, it's hard for performing artists, visual artists. We also had performing artists a part of the event over the weekend as well, which is like so super dope.
No, that's amazing. I think you guys, this isn't nothing new. I remember like the little interview, y'all walking down the street about the whole little photo shoot.
What were we doing?
That's a creative, when we did the creative picture downtown with the kids. Remember the kids down there?
No.
Dave, the kids were on the circle. Everybody came on the circle.
Yeah.
Listen, we are working on 4 hours of sleep for the last 3 weeks.
It has been amazing, but it has been a labor of love. Sorry.
I was like, man, if you don't remember now, I'm about to take my phone out. Hey, this is you.
Yeah. So back to the mural. So what's the time frame? How long is it going to be out there for? When can people go see it? What's all the information in terms of in regards to some of that stuff?
There have been hundreds of people already who have come down to see it, right? So we've been out there working and painting since Friday, and so anybody can go right now.
Right.
The street is, or the block is still blocked off to cars, and then around the art there are bike racks to prevent people from coming in. But there's still been a ton of visitors, and it'll be blocked off to cars until Thursday at least.
Yeah. Right. So we're trying to get the city to extend that period, just because it's art, and it's magnificent art. It's the work is so well done, but knowing as soon as that street opens with the car traffic and everything else, it's going to start to deteriorate. So however long that we can keep it preserved is the goal, and just the way to do that is actually just to
keep it away from cars and try to deter vandalism that way also, for as long as we can keep it blocked off. So we're going to try to keep it closed to cars and open to people for as long as possible. But anybody can go at any time right now, get up close to it, see it.
It's open.
Have they ever tried to, in any other cities, has there been any precedent in terms of like painting that on a permanent structure, like a wall or something like that maybe that could last us there long?
Probably. I have seen it. I don't remember which city it was, but it's on the street, and then it's also on the wall right next to it. So just in case whatever happens with that. Most of them have been on the street, though. I think that sends a different message, maybe. And you have more real estate.
Wow, the paint. So probably.
But speaking of vandalism, though, that's like a real legit threat. There's a lot of, groups and people that don't, really rock with Black Lives Matter, and especially here in Indiana. So during the same time that we planned to start the painting, there was 2 anti-Black Lives Matter protests that were happening just a block away, and they're bringing artillery and everything else, but our Black Lives Matter team has their own security. So we had Humvees and, AK-47s just like all around the perimeter. It's almost like we was like painting, and doing this art in like a compound.
Yeah, but it felt safe and it felt joyful because of that, because we were kind of covered.
Yeah, didn't nobody want no smoke with G.I. Joe out there.
But there are real threats of vandalism even now. All over social media and on
people
the news.
People are posting stuff. We're gonna, pour out asphalt on it.
And like I'm gonna, whatever you do with your car, burn out.
And so it's so unfortunate that we live in a culture that in order to like disagree with, like, you can't have your own stance without disagreeing with someone else's.
Right.
So for them, that being beautiful, powerful, sentimental to that avenue, they just can't have that. You have to hate on that to then say what your stance is. But or you can just leave it alone.
Just leave it alone.
Why
do you have to
everybody
act?
You can hate without pouring asphalt on the mural.
You can paint your own mural somewhere else.
Exactly.
Straight up.
Just go do your own.
Like, why do you have to like knock mines and figure? And that's the whole thing about because I think obviously the name of the podcast, Success Leaves Clues. I think a lot of stuff that you all do, right, it's probably a little bit controversial. And I found, like, personally, unfortunately, like some of the biggest opposition is people of color, it's Black people. So how do you deal with that? How would you suggest other people who want to get involved, who want to get back, who want to do something amazing like that? I mean, how should they go about? What type of mind frame should they have when they're thinking about doing some amazing work?
The mindset that I kind of carry around is just kind of two pieces of advice, maybe even three, but the two that come to mind are always be open to other perspectives, right? So if somebody is pushing back, there's something that they want to say. I have something that I want to say. I just might not deliver it in the same way, but like listen to the perspective, ask questions, and try to learn. You might not disagree with it, but there's always an opportunity to learn, which is the second kind of tool that I keep with me. There's within everything, every hour, every conversation, every visit, every tour, there's something to learn from all of it. And there's always a way to apply that to your life, to your career, what you're working on. But everything is a learning opportunity, and that's kind of how I approach every little thing. And you get much more out of life and out of every conversation, keeping that in mind.
Yeah, and also like understand when to act and just when to let it go. I think just when you do reach a certain like level, I'm not saying like we're this whatever, but it's like a lot of people start coming after you, whether it could be jealousy, they may want your spot, or they may think you're not doing as good of a job as in your current role or position. But we just try to take it all in perspective that we're doing this work for a very meaningful cause. Like, we're trying to do this for the culture, and just like everybody that has hated on us on our way up here, we still gonna help. And that's kind of how how we see things as well. We're not going to stop moving forward, but at the end of the day, we're not going to stop looking back either. So we're going to bring everybody along with us.
Nah, that's dope. I love a quote, and it says like, "Don't argue with negative people because they'll take you down to their level and beat you with experience."
Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
Because so many times, like if you're not in that position, if you don't come to that mindset, they're gonna go to 10, and you only want to go to 3.
Right.
So the perception is that they won.
Right.
Yeah.
If you go to 0,
right,
and they're on 10, then they look like a fool.
Right.
Exactly.
So
that's what happened with the mural.
No, exactly. So it's just like so many times, like silence and peace. And
silence is a powerful tool.
It's crazy.
It's amazing.
Just keep
so
working.
Cultural, little quiz, like fast quiz in terms of just the culture, right? So this would be like just cultural questions in terms of like who's your favorite like cultural Indianapolis artist, like your favorite artist in the city,
like right now.
Yes.
Living
favorite artist.
My favorite artist is January York. She has been my favorite.
She's dope.
She's powerful.
Man, you know what? I'm gonna break this up at least two parts. So my favorite group is Native Son. So shout out Sleep.
So artists, I'm talking about painting right now.
You're talking about visual artists.
I go musician first. That's what I'm doing.
And January is not a visual artist, so I'll have to change my answer. She's a poet.
So visual artist.
Okay.
And I have to pick one?
Yes.
So we just had 18 dope ones.
But just one.
I'm gonna go first, so you won't steal mine, just in case you was thinking about. Right. King Nathaniel is my favorite right now. So we went to the protest the first night, and we just saw, this young guy with a fist. It was a painting of a fist, and it was dope. Molly was like, I want to buy that. Like, how much are you selling it for? He's like, I'm not, really trying to sell this word with her, but maybe this word. So we just, took his information, and you ended up
following him,
and just like, I followed him a little bit. I did a piece on him in the reporter for the column, and then so we hit him up for this mural project, and just like super dope, great person, and then like his level of art is super creative and equally as dope, man. So that's my King Nathaniel shout out, man. I see you, bro.
I guess I'll pick someone from the mural also, but she is my new favorite, and her name is Amaya Mims.
Yeah, she's dope. Yeah.
And what I like about her work is that she makes very strong statements, but in a soft way, in a very beautiful way. And I think there's something very cool about that, especially her being a woman, and how we can say, we can just make bold statements, but if you do it in a sophisticated way, if you put beauty on it, it can go further.
Yeah. No, that's dope. So me, Kevin West.
He was out there. Yeah.
So he's one of my dudes that I rock with. But just recently, I had Paige, Positive P, I guess as an Instagram name.
Okay.
She painted a mural in the back, in the gym. So it's pretty dope. So I rock with little young Paige. So
everybody gives some shout outs today.
All right, so let's go with DJ.
Oh.
The arts. Who's your favorite DJ? You had a party. He was like, yo, we having it at the house. Like, who's gonna be your DJ?
Go ahead. You can go first.
Well, I think Metronome is our favorite DJ.
Yeah, that's not even the question.
Yeah.
Metronome.
Metronome. Yeah, DJ Metronome is. I mean, I went to play basketball with Nick in middle school, so we go back a long time.
So y'all been building like bricks for a minute. Y'all been
building and he's super dope, man. He's super dope.
He's just a great guy.
And he has a whole school,
and
program.
He has academics.
Yeah,
absolutely. I trust anyone who comes out of his school because he taught them.
So for me, I limited party scene experience, but DJ Todd, man, I've been rocking with for.
Okay, Todd.
Yeah. And he sounds like a better
Sounds by Todd.
Sounds by Todd,
yeah. He's a little bit better than DJ Todd.
DJ T over there.
Hey, Todd, my bad. Sounds by Todd.
I got you, though. I got you.
Yes, he's dope.
We had some epic parties. Sounds by Todd.
Yeah.
All right, so now let's go female vocalist.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Deanna Dixon is from Indianapolis and is my favorite, but she just moved to Atlanta. We lost her.
Well, she don't count no more.
Okay, so does she count?
Nah.
When did she just move? Is it like a...
Yeah, what's a moratorium?
Can that thing fall out? Then she
been out for a year?
It's been a couple years.
Yeah, you got to
Okay, you go.
I was going to say, let me see. My favorite out right now, hands down, without a doubt, I'm gonna say Melina Simone.
Whatever.
You ain't gonna get me on camera talking about no other girl. I gotta go on.
That's her alter ego, Melina Simone, Molly Jefferson.
Yes.
So,
I gotta go home, G.
Hey, smart man.
I gotta go home.
I respect that. All right, so you got, so you're not a woman, so you can't.
Yeah.
So man,
so now I can take two.
Yeah.
Man, I'm thinking. So I just want to say that the female black voice is my favorite instrument.
Straight up.
I love the depth of our voice, the strength, the history in our voice, and the things we can do with our voice that nobody else can do. And so I hesitate to even choose somebody. Ooh, Okara Imani, I have recently discovered in the past year, and her voice is beautiful.
And she hit at the...
and she was one of the performers, That's true.
Awesome. So old school again, Stacey McCracken.
That's old school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's yours?
Yeah, it is.
Nice.
I'm old, man.
No, it's great.
So
we are the same.
I don't know
same age.
I don't know the young artists, but I don't go out. So it's like I aged longer. I'm like fine wine. All right, so
by the way, about the good stuff.
So let me see. Like, so looking for in Indy's future, right? Just from the cultural side, like, what do you think is next? Like, what's something that Indy is missing that could potentially be, life changing? That potentially would like put Indy on a map. That could potentially really give some hope to like some of the artists like that are out there.
Yeah. What are you gonna say?
I keep answering first. You want to go?
Nah, ladies first.
Okay.
Cool.
So there were 2 stats that I read today. One of them was that 1 out of every 8 people in central Indiana are Black, and that Indianapolis is the 17th largest city right now, which we were like 13.
Yeah.
I don't know how many years ago.
Yeah.
Like 7-ish years ago. So I was like, oh my goodness. We have a high population of Black people in this city, and we're losing people by the day.
Wow.
So what's going on?
Yeah.
And I think it is that culture piece that we have lost over the last however many decades, right? So like the reason that people want to stay in cities, and maybe the reason why we can't draw people to the city as much, is maybe we need to boost our art scene and boost our cultural scene to what it was on Indiana Avenue, in the 40s, 50s, 60s.
Yep.
I think that's what we're missing.
It's amazing what that reminds me of is just Nashville. And over the last few
Absolutely,
years,
yeah.
how they really took off, like
but even so, just like imagine Nashville all Black, and that's what Indiana Avenue was. I mean, it was clubs, it was bars, it was businesses, but it was like just all the creators that you could think about. A lot of the greats came from Indy or traveled through Indy. When my great uncle passed away in Harlem, they had his funeral at Jacob's Funeral Home. And just all of the jazz greats came to Indy to see him, like Duke Ellington, Ella Fitzgerald. I mean, just all these pioneers in the industry. But yeah, Indy was hot, man. Indy was hot.
Now I think that'd be dope. Obviously, some type of calling card. I think if you go outside the city, we struggle a little bit with identity. So you're from Indy. Usually it's like you from here, the food, that name of food, right? Kansas City barbecue, this place, right? Nashville, New York, like plays like something that people kind of. And I think we're really probably missing that, or really trying to hold in on that. I know where the amateur sports capital of the world is like what it was for a minute, but.
We've got the race. Well, beyond that.
Yeah, because the race is like one day, right? So what else could you really?
Yeah, Gary made a good point though. It's like just all those other places that you talked about was like in the creative space. I mean, food and art. Yeah, so that's like what Indy is actually lacking right now is that. I mean, it's cool to be a sports. I mean, New York got the Giants, Knicks, Net. I mean, all this.
That's what people mention. What do you love about cities? It's the culture,
food, plays.
So just a shameless plug, right? So for the independent restaurants, like we really need to do a better job, in my belief, to like support those independent restaurants.
Absolutely.
Obviously, like I took it on the chin, right?
Yeah.
I take full responsibility. I couldn't sustain through COVID, but I feel like there's a lot of other restaurants that are hurting and need your support.
Yes.
And I feel like so many times, unfortunately, and I dealt with it firsthand, we're so critical of these smaller businesses that don't have the same resources.
Right.
When we're looking for some type of sponsorship or something like that to give back, they're the first group we go to.
Yep. That's absolutely right.
So really have to kind of figure out ways that we can support that, because in order for that to be a part of the scene, they have to be around.
Right.
So just to be mindful of that.
Every Tuesday we go to a local place for dinner.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's today.
Tuesday. So where y'all going today?
We got to find some place on the north side now.
I got some recommendations for y'all.
Okay.
I got a little Mexican joint down the street, pretty dope. Y'all been to what's the wing spot?
R&R?
Yeah, R&R.
Okay. Yeah, there's one
It's on
further
Keystone,
down
right?
by us.
But there's one on Michigan.
Is it?
Oh, okay.
Okay. A little bit. No.
Have you been to 1933, the new north side one?
No, I haven't. I've been to Havana.
Okay.
A little cigar joint.
Yep. Yep. I've heard about that. We've got options.
So last question, I kind of leave the show asking this question to everyone. And the name of the show obviously is Successfully Excludes, right? So it's gonna be a 2-part. Molly, you wanna go first since you've been answering first all night. So the one thing about success, right, or fulfillment, or whatever you hold dear, right? Because as I'm learning anymore, right, the term success is like it's your own definition.
Right. Right.
So when I say success leaves clues, I'm not just talking about monetary. Like, all right, you're gonna have all rich people on the show, and they're gonna tell us how to get rich. It's like, yo, there's a lot of rich people that are miserable. So like from just like it could be fulfillment. So what is a successful like clue that you've learned that you would share with yourself 3 years ago, or something that you've learned, or something that you uncovered?
Yikes. I think I would tell myself not to be afraid of kind of the opposition and the naysayers that we talked about earlier, but to find motivation within that space, to find, motivation within, again, every conversation and every point of opposition, and use that as a driver.
Right.
I think for me, it's to celebrate every win. The small ones, big ones. I mean, I think, we get into the habit of just kind of waiting for that big win or the touchdown, right? Yeah. But don't, celebrate the third down conversion or, the tackle that stopped, this progress. So I think, for me, it's just like learning just how to celebrate those, benchmarks of success along the way, till you, get to where you're going. Yeah.
No, I think that's a great one. I think so many of us, like you put your ladder on this mountain and you think happiness is once you reach the top.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you reach the top and you realize, like, yo, my ladder was on the wrong the whole time. Like, this ain't what I thought it was. Right? And then, but through the climb, in that journey, you was like, I can't celebrate that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I'm celebrating every step of the ladder, man. Yeah. And I think that's kind of what drives me forward. It gets on her nerves.
He's teaching me that because I am one of those people. I'll just keep climbing. I'll just get there.
It's like, what next?
Right. What's next? Yeah.
It's like a parable of this. It's a American businessman and it's a Mexican fisherman. I think it's called The Life. It's like a song. But this American businessman goes to Mexico, right? They go fishing, and this little fisherman named Jose, like, got his little boat. Everybody's big boats. Jose go out, catch all the fish. He come back, you know what I'm saying, dancing, right? He sells fish off, right? And then American businessman, like, yo, he borrowed his fish. Like, yo, you a beast, yo. Like, I went out with this captain, boat 3 times as bigger, and you out fishes. Like, what's the secret? He's like, hey, Amigo, come with me, I tell you. So Jose take him to his crib, right? He fry the fish. They outside. He's singing the guitar. He's singing, playing, right? So then they go out again. So American businessman now go Jose. Jose go out there. He a beast. He get the fish in there, right? So the American businessman, what do we do? Like, Jose, yo, you got a business here.
Right.
Jose was like, oh yeah? Like, tell me more. He's like, hey, we gonna like buy some more boats. He's like, and then what? And then we're gonna get more fish. And then what? He's like, and then we're gonna like franchise it, he's out, grow it, and then we're gonna sell it. He's like, and then what? He was like, and then you can do whatever you want. And Jose was like, Amigo, I already do whatever I want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
and
a
so
good
many
reminder.
people it's just like, no, the ladder is just like, no, celebrating every win is like, bro.
That is a great reminder.
I just caught 1,000 fish today.
Like, you don't have to wait to be happy. Right. You don't have to wait to do what you want.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's
like,
a great
you can
reminder.
legit just like right now decide, like, yo, I'm grateful.
I'm
like,
doing,
this is
That's
doing
dope.
what I want right now.
That's dope.
Yeah.
No, that's
Thank
awesome,
you for that.
No problem. Now, I appreciate you guys being on, man. This will not be the first time, I promise. Obviously, some big news in the works. Definitely very exciting stuff. So definitely want to continue to share you guys' story as you guys evolve, as you continue to bring dope things to the city. I think this is a platform where I just want to share people's messages, man, and give people the opportunity to share what they're doing, what they're all about, and also help others, right, and motivate that in other people that, hey, man, it's possible. Right, you can go out there and get creative and do your thing. So thank you all for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Hey, next episode, Success Leaves Clues. Very excited to bring the next guest on. But if you like this, please share it with your friends. Also, go to GaryBrackett.com, subscribe to our newsletter. We would love to continue to add value for you. I'm so thankful for our guests, Alan Bacon, Molly Jeffers. Definitely not going to be the last time on. And very excited about you guys being here. And excited about bringing you back in the near future.
Absolutely, man. Thank you.
Had a good time.
Oh, sorry. So where can they find you at?
Producers on it.
Producers on it.
Yo.
I'm slipping right now. But producer, like, nah, where y'all ads at, right? Like,
Right,
where the ad at? Where can they
Yeah.
find you? All right.
I'm Melina Simone everywhere. Melina Simone on Instagram, on Twitter, melinasimone.com.
That really sounds like a singing name, yo. You might.
No,
It needs
I
a
told you,
Simone,
Yeah.
I'm Alan Bacon 7 everywhere, which I don't. Where am I at base?
That's like your Gmail
Yeah,
address, which shouldn't anybody use.
Yeah.
Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah, it's Alan Bacon 7.
So 7 is what's that?
Like, so I pledged, and that was just my number. So
That's
it just,
also my number.
yeah, so
Ooh, so you are a
Sigma. I play Sigma. Yeah.
And then
And I'm an AKA.
okay, sweet.
Yeah.
So do y'all rock? Is that the like natural Sigma AKA or not? Like AKAs rock with who?
Oh,
Just
I don't know.
yeah.
Next episode, hey, rock with it, y'all.